I'm gonna say that just to get out of the door, but you did that.
The problem was that I told 2 people, and then 2 people told 2 people, and word got around, and then other people were like, oh yeah, this was suspicious.
I'm just saying that it was just a little, whatever, strange for me.
The audacity for Tracel to cry after she nominated someone and she made it seem like this person was the traitor. And then when she's called out, she brings out her Karen tears. Why? Sit down somewhere, please. We are not interested. And I give it to Max for sticking to his word that you created this. So don't pretend to be innocent. You're the one who nominated her. You're the one who kept going on and on. So you have to own it with your full chest. There's no need for you to hide behind other people. You did this. Anyway, hey there. Thanks for stopping by, to girl Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. Click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing The Traitors, Season 2, Episode 2. I am so confused. Am I the only one? Please tell me, why would they choose that person to be a traitor? What has poverty done that would make them feel that she is the right candidate? For me, I have a feeling that Dan is playing with Phaedra, and Phaedra needs to catch up quick. I think he's trying to get his people on board that he can control. That way he runs this game. Apparently he's won Big Brother twice. I have never watched Big Brother. I'm not really a fan. So the fact that he chose poverty doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't. I like the fact that Phaedra went to war for Johnny and said, we need to win the money. If we are sending the strongest people home, then we're going to be stuck with no money. So they really need the likes of CT. They need Johnny. They need Deontay. They need Marcus. They need Maxim Chimakowski. So I think they need to be strategic in how they're sort of killing people off. She wanted, well, Dan wanted to kill off Kevin, and it's like, why Kevin? Yes, he says he wants confusion because Kevin hasn't done anything. I think if he wanted confusion, he should have either killed off Bergie, because people would be surprised because Bergie is not going to harm anyone, but then I assume that's the sort of character the producers want to keep on the show. Or he should have killed off the politician because he was already being suspected as being one of the traitors. So everybody would have been surprised that we thought he was a traitor. If he's gone home, so who is actually the traitor? But then, I don't know. We'll see. Them choosing poverty, I think, was a mistake. Really a mistake. I'm disappointed because everybody starts walking in, and as they're walking in, Dan thinks he's smarter than he actually is. He's got a tell, and the fact that he's trying to chime into every conversation or comment on anything that's said to try and throw the scent off him is what is going to make him get caught. Am I surprised with the person they decided to murder? Yes, I am. The fact that Phaedra had the audacity to say, who else is left? And it was Johnny Bananas and Kevin, and Peppermint. And it's like, why? Why would they choose Johnny Bananas? It doesn't make sense to me. He would have won the money, but also he would have been able to suss them out. So that I get as the reason why they voted him out, or the reason why they murdered him. But I would have murdered someone like Bergie. Bergie's going to fly under the radar, and people are going to just ignore him and just say he's Bergie. He's not going to do anything. And that's how he's going to win, because he's the least of a threat of everybody there. And Maxim, because he's very quiet and very mysterious, people don't know how to suss him out. CT was upset that they voted Johnny Bananas out. They might not be best friends, but I think he was upset that they voted out one of the strongest people, because at the end of the day, they still need to win the money. And none of these other people, given how they performed in the previous challenge, is willing to do the work. So the fact that Johnny Bananas was pivotal in winning them $30,000 and they sent him home doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense. And then for this girl to have the audacity to say, oh, Peppermint and I had an issue yesterday. I told her if I go home, then you are the traitor. And it's like, why? I give it to Peppermint for actually standing up and telling her, if you're going to get murdered, it's going to be by my luck. I'm not a traitor. And for Deontay to want to buy into this nonsense that, oh, Peppermint is a traitor, I don't get it. I think if I were Peppermint, I would have said, you are the traitor because you're the one who's making these allegations. You're the one who's brought this to the group. Why else, if you're not guilty, would you say that? So when Alan arrives, he mentions that Johnny Bananas is gone, and everybody had already suspected that Johnny Bananas had gone because he's the only person who didn't come down to breakfast. And Johnny was right to say he's a bit annoyed that he was sent home too early. I think it was too premature to send Johnny Bananas. I think there are other people they should have taken out, as I've said. And so they're then notified that they will be splitting into groups and they will be competing in groups for the next challenge, and they'll try and sort of weed out who at the next sort of group meeting they'll try and say who they feel is the traitor. And so Peppermint has a conversation with CT and Deontay and sort of says, I don't understand why it's still being discussed that I'm the traitor, because if I was the traitor, as she said, I would have sent her home. But she's still here, so why are we talking about it? And for people to continue to suspect, Peppermint, doesn't make sense. I think Peppermint, as she says, needs to get her wits about her, needs to really come up with some sort of game plan. Otherwise, they're going to weed her out at the next meeting. You have Dan. Dan thinks he's smarter than he is. He pulls Poverty aside for a chat to sort of say, has anyone said anything about me? Do they suspect anything? And it's like, why would you say that? Why are you asking that? If you are saying you're such a mastermind, why do you need to sort of pull someone aside and sort of, say, what do you think about me? And what does everybody else think about me? I called it. As he said, he wants to run the game, but sadly, in his attempt to run the game, he's going to get himself voted out, and I can't wait for that. I really can't wait for that. I think they should have recruited Sandra. I think Sandra is a game player. As she said, Survivor is for the fittest, and she's proved herself not once but twice. And so the fact that they chose Poverty over Sandra doesn't make sense. I don't know whether they felt that Sandra might be a loose cannon and they might not be able to control her. But I don't know how they think they can control Poverty. I think Dan thought in his wisdom he could control Poverty, but he has another thing coming. I hope Sandra votes Poverty out, because Poverty for me is a no. No, I don't get her and I don't understand her. And for them to sort of start going on about John, John, we think, if he's such a good politician, why would he sort of slip and let it be known that he's been selected as a traitor? I think they're going to lose money, or they're going to lose if they choose him, because I think he was just excited about being on the show and very anxious and worried that he might be made a traitor. I don't know. Maxim is there. Maxim is just chilling. He's not bothered. I think Maxim's game plan is to try and be mysterious and not be a threat. That way nobody sort of kills him off or nominates him as a traitor. So I can't wait to see what happens. I don't know who told Dan that he was that smart. I think he's too overconfident. The fact that he's pulled Poverty again to sort of say, oh, you need to find someone you can trust. I trust you. And it's like, why? Why are you pulling her countless times? If Poverty is that smart, I would be questioning why the same person keeps pulling me for chats. Are they a traitor? Am I one of them? Because I think he's trying to be in good with Poverty. That way he can manipulate her. And I hope this backfires. I really want him to go, because I think he thinks he's smarter than he actually is. And I would rather someone like Sandra be a traitor than him. It's interesting how Tamara and Trishelle are the only ones who are calling out people's names and are the only ones who are saying this person is guilty, this person is guilty. I think if nothing else, Phaedra and Dan need to be smart, in the sense that they need to keep the people in the show that are being suspected to be the traitors, and they need to send home the people that are thinking that those people are traitors. That way, that's the only way they can save themselves, if you get what I mean, in the sense that if they send Trishelle or Tamara home, then people will think, oh, so they were right. This is why they were sent home. And, people will start to suspect the wrong people until eventually there's no one for them to suspect. That's just my opinion. I think they need to save John. I think they need to save Peppermint. I think they need to send home either Tamara or they need to send home Trishelle. That's my opinion. I agree with Max that, all this incident that, Trishelle is making into a big deal was nothing. And even Sheree said, it wasn't a big deal. We don't know why she keeps making a mountain out of a molehill. I think she's got her own issues with Peppermint, and she's trying to use this as a shield or as a way of getting rid of Peppermint. That's my opinion. So all the participants sit around the round table, and Alan comes out and says, they need to choose someone. Everyone is going to get to cast a vote for who they want to banish. And so they're given the floor to discuss. And Peppermint immediately raises her hand and says, I have something I want to say. I feel like, Tamara has been coming for me. Is it Tamara or the other one? I don't know their name, sorry. It's been coming for me. And so I feel like she's trying to throw my name out. That way she can take the heat off herself. And for you all to listen to that and take it as word doesn't make sense. And I like the fact that Cherie and Maxim actually spoke up and said, no, this was just gossip. This was just two people having a conversation. We didn't take it that seriously. And for them to sort of keep up with this, I don't get it, because at the end of the day, the traitors are happy. As long as other names are being sort of thrown out there, then they can sit in the shadows and just watch people sort of pluck each other out one at a time. I don't like the fact that some people are just jumping on board just because Peppermint's name has been thrown out. Even the fact that Trishelle is the one who was saying that, Peppermint is the one who wants to get rid of her. And then Tamra starts going on at, the politician that, oh, why did you breathe? And it's like, some people are just anxious. What does breathing have to do with it? You are using assumptions and your own sort of beliefs. The fact that you asked him for an inhaler and he didn't have an inhaler, he said he was borderline asthmatic. He didn't say that, oh, I need inhalers, I need nebulizers, I need steroid tablets if I have a chest infection. And no, he didn't say that. He said he was just mildly asthmatic. That doesn't mean he uses his inhaler. Not every single asthmatic person uses an inhaler. And it's sad that these two ladies get to sort of make allegations against other people and sit in the background and sort of watch while other people are sort of having to squirm and try and save themselves. I am so furious. I don't even know where to begin or where to end. Because the fact that Trishelle got her way by nominating Peppermint doesn't make sense to me. The fact that she was able to convince people to side with her outside of 3 people doesn't make sense to me. For her to say she's going by a facial expression, she doesn't know Peppermint from anywhere. That could be Peppermint's behavior or how she responds to certain situations. And so for her to say, oh, because of your facial expression, it tells me that you're a traitor. And for Larissa to say, oh, you called yourself a traitor. She stumbled over her words. I think she was trying to prove herself, and in trying to say so, she slipped up and she called herself a traitor. But that doesn't make her a traitor. And so for them to nominate her and say, you are the one to be banished doesn't make sense. I love Maxim. Maxim is always going to speak his truth, irregardless of whether it's popular or not. This is why I liked him on Dancing with the Stars. He was a rebel. Because he said everybody's the herd mentality. So everybody decided to vote with the majority so that they couldn't be outed as a traitor. The fact that they all voted for Peppermint doesn't make sense, and there's no justifiable reason given the fact that people like Cherie was saying that no, Peppermint was just talking, there was nothing to it, she's not a traitor. And so when it's announced and Peppermint is the one who makes the announcement, she says, I'm here for the trans community. This is why I took this opportunity. I'm a fan of the show, so there was no way I wasn't going to miss out on this opportunity. And I just want you to know that I'm a faithful. And then she said, oh, I'm going to be heartbroken if it turns out you're a faithful. I'm going to be heartbroken. Why are you heartbroken? You're the one who was championing this. You're the one who was singing the loudest until you got everybody else to be on your side. So why are you upset? And so once Peppermint is left and everybody moves away from the table, she goes, I think she was looking for sympathy because she went to Deontay and Dan and Maxim. I think she wanted sympathy, Trishelle. And she was sort of saying to them, oh, I only told one person who told 2 people and then 2 people. And Maxim was straight up, you are responsible. You're the one who started this. And then she started crying, her Karen tears. For what? You brought it on to somebody yourself, so you have to bear it. Because you said you're going to feel guilty if you take that opportunity away from, Peppermint. You have to own it with your full chest, 10 toes deep, and sort of say, this is what I've done. I know I'm wrong and I'm sorry. That's what she should have done. Instead of crying and looking for sympathy, everybody else felt guilty. They felt guilty. And some, oh, but she didn't do a good job defending herself. And it's like, oh, please, leave it alone. And so they all are told it's time to go to bed. And then you have Parvati saying to Dan, oh, you need to be worried. You need to be worried. And it's like, these two are going to be found out. I think the only way they'll find out Phaedra is if these two out her, because everybody else could tell that there were some people in the room who were just very quiet. And Phaedra is there sort of asking, who is it? Who is it? I talk. You can tell that Dan is playing up too much to sort of try and take away the pressure from him. It's easy to out him. Phaedra is going to be difficult. Parvati is going to be difficult. She has assumptions of who she thinks are the traitors, and I wonder how she's going to feel when she realizes that it's actually Dan and Phaedra. So once everybody's gone to bed, you have, the new traitor Parvati meet up with the two traitors, and you can see I think she knew Dan was a traitor because he's got to tell, but because she kept looking at Phaedra's side when they went to reveal, and she was more shocked with Phaedra's reveal than she was with Dan. So Dan is not doing a good job. Phaedra is on point. Phaedra is able to just sit there and watch people communicate and give her the answers that she needs. I hope she defends CT, since she said she really likes CT. I hope she defends Maxim as well. And I don't know how it's going to play out. I think Parvati knew who Dan was, but I think she didn't know who the third person was, and seeing that it was Phaedra really knocked the wind out of her. Phaedra's doing an amazing job. I really hope she wins this. If not, I want City to win it. But anyway, I digress. Thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 1. Bye guys.